What you've been taught about God is how you see God. At some point, you have to experience God personally. When I was young, I received most of my information concerning Jesus Christ from my mother. The religious system that my mother was affiliated with was a very works-oriented system. As a child, I feared God more than I loved him. Growing up, I was encouraged to read the scriptures. The God of the Old Testament versus the God of the New Testament were so different. The Old Testament God seemed filled with retribution and anger. The New Testament God was revealed as being loving, kind, generous, merciful, and just. The problem that I had basically was I was convinced that I had broken the commandments many times and was a sinner, and I was destined to die. I failed continually at my attempt of keeping the commandments. I never fully understood the significance of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ and what that meant for me personally. In a church setting, we're taught that Jesus died for the sins of the world. There's nothing that is really personalized about that kind of instruction. I had heard that there was a final judgment, and during that period of time, all men would be judged according to their deeds and their actions. I knew one thing: I was in trouble. From the age of 11 to about 16, I read the Bible daily. I became familiar with the Gospels. Someone told me that their whole perception of God changed when they studied the Passion of Jesus Christ and his crucifixion and resurrection. Years passed before I took the advice. In my early 20s, I was the victim of an armed robbery in New York City. As I saw the event taking place before my very eyes, all I could say was, "Dear Jesus, help me," and he did. By a few millimeters, I avoided a near-fatal wound to the head. That brush with death got my attention. It also gave me an opportunity to realize that Jesus was very real and closer than my next breath. My mother used to say that Jesus was an answer to a need. When I experienced that tremendous need, Jesus was the answer. I started to study the Passion and the crucifixion and the resurrection, and I started to study it with intensity, and I saw the relationship between Abraham and Isaac going to sacrifice Isaac on Mount Moriah. I internalized the crucifixion as specifically meant for me. I saw God's love was so great that he traded his son for me specifically for my sins so that I could be with him eternally. I still carried issues most of my life concerning God's forgiveness until I was led to understand to a greater degree the grace of God. God's love was given to me not because I earned it, but because Jesus earned it for me. The weight of personal effort that I had experienced a majority of my life ultimately turned to a moment of understanding complete and total forgiveness by the love of God in my life. And as a result, I experienced joy the likes of which I had never experienced prior to that point in time. I encourage you to read the Holy Scriptures. It is the Word of God. God reveals himself through his Word. God became flesh in the person of Jesus Christ. You are not only greatly loved, you are supremely loved. For the assurance of salvation, read Romans 10:9 and 10. It simply states this: if you will confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised Jesus Christ from the dead, you will be saved. By personalizing the passion and the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, you will be transformed. Share this with everyone. God bless you.